Hey guys, NocRan here. I'm going away on vacation to the Easy Breeze Holiday Resort, but I'll need someone to take care of the estate while I'm gone. So I went to the one place I knew I could order a state-of-the-art robot maid. I mean, just look at those specs! Who knows, maybe Ineffa will show up in a Cybertruck wielding a cyber hammer and giving out free Tesla-bot action figures. What the hell? You know the drill, I'm farming primos for Ineffa. I'm starting at 225 primos plus 1 fate, and I'm 50 pity deep. Let's get right into the video. I started this session the only way I knew how. Diving headfirst into oncoming traffic. Floor 11 was as easy as it should have been. Yes, you can ignore what's happening on screen, my Skirk did not almost die. While I was scouting out the floor 12 enemies, I saw my old friend the Overseer and switched my Skirk team over, only to realize I had it the right way before and switched back. And honestly, there really wasn't much to say about this Abyss rotation. I had finished it in 12.5 minutes, which might be the fastest I've ever done anything in my life. Jumping straight into a bottomless pit, next it was time to do Imaginarium Theater, which was super duper fun! So fun that I'm going to skip ahead 40 minutes to the later acts that, honestly, were so much easier than the earlier ones. And after suffering a brain hemorrhage, I moved on to Stygian Onslaught. And while I could go into detail about the bosses and their mechanics, this was hard mode, so I couldn't care less. The reason why I only did hard mode was because you don't actually get Primogems for any of the hard difficulties. So, if I hate myself enough, I'll do those after I'm done recording this video. Now what I did do though was spend all my resin here, after which I collected my commissions, did some character trials, then played some more of my favorite Genshin pastime. The rhythm game, 60 primos for a high rating on 8 songs in the current album, a good deal if you ask me, until after I played my first song and I noticed it was one of the longest in the album because I didn't notice the song length right under the title. Subscribe to my channel and maybe I can afford a pair of glasses, please and thank you. While playing Guitar Hero, I was channeling my inner gamer and actually listening to other music, which you might think is distracting, but I think it actually added to the gameplay. Besides, it's not like hard mode is actually that hard, which prompted me to try a song on pro mode. I love how the jump from hard to pro mode is basically, yeah, we're gonna use these two notes now too. And I'm embarrassed to say, it's working. I collected my rhythm game primo reward, did a random primo check, then decided I earned a bit of a reward from all that combat in the first hour of recording. It was time to explode the new Natlan area. Did I seriously not notice that typo until now? And Bennett's here! Stop talking and let me explore, Bennett. Stop talking. Stop it! Why won't you stop? Oh, that was all just open water? I'm slightly disappointed, and now I'm confused. Maybe it's best I don't think about it. After taking way too long figuring out how to complete this puzzle, I boarded a little ferry, and had to listen to Bennett praise, or dare I say, glaze, the Safe Conduct Commission. Bennett, my guy, that commission is so long, literally everyone hates it. I took a look at a map that even I could have drawn, and no, that isn't a compliment, and started painting my way through the resort. They call me the greatest painter to have ever graced these lands. Shout out to any Austrians watching this. What? After arriving at a place that looked like it was constantly in an all-out paintball war, I collected 2 Pyroculus before starting the summer event. And I hate to mention it, but those things at the bottom of the loading screen look like Among Us characters. Haha, this really brings a different meaning to painting the town red. When I thought I was done with this part of the event, I realized I was actually 50 points off from the full rewards, and if you look through your bedroom window, you'll see me jumping off of the roof. I assure you, it's from excitement. The second part of the event wasn't too bad though. It honestly felt like one of those mobile puzzle games I played as a kid like Cut the Rope or Where's My Water. On the way to the third part of the event, I was trying my best to not get distracted with exploring, and failed almost immediately. You already know where this was going, I'm more predictable than a Darman video. This included finding more Pyroculus, popping balloons at some poor kid's birthday party, diving for an achievement, and getting ganked by the main quest. Thanks, Genshin. I torqued my way across the water, and finally started the third part of the event where I simulated a Donald Trump rally. Whoa. I then collected all the Primogem rewards, got a new outfit for Bennett, looking snazzy, Bennett oh boy, did a random primo check, collected some check-in rewards, as well as the achievement I got while diving or whatever that I completely forgot about, then tried to glitch through a door to get a Pyroculus without doing the prerequisite quest, which led to some interesting results. Eventually, I straight up just glitched through and fell through the world. Maybe doing the quest would be a good idea. Now that I've had my glitchy fun, I should probably finish the event quests. The only problem is, how do I get out? Help me, step disciple, I'm stuck. Anyway, yeah, I continued the quest, during which I was expecting a Care Bear jump scare with how colorful this area was. I also played some Splatoon against Bennett where I absolutely murdered him. Get good, you boosted fuck. Sorry about that. Channeled my inner League of Legends player there. The next part of the quest had me getting just a little bit distracted. Once, maybe twice, possibly 3 times. I then built a water park theme ride that definitely wasn't passing regulations, got distracted for about half an hour, and finally reached Bennett to continue the event quest. I helped one of those twerking Among Us things run an obstacle course which I had to retry multiple times. I don't know why, but my timing was so bad for literally no reason. And after getting distracted for a little longer, I completed my commissions and spent my resin.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Back to the quest, back to being distracted. I rode on the Wonder Mountains Guardian at Canada's Wonderland, and played that one GTA 5 heist where you sneak into a compound and you have to kill the guards in a certain order, and it's 3 AM on a school night, but that one friend of yours keeps falling off a ladder and dying. There was this one part of the quest where I thought I was tripping, because the way I was moving my camera around made it feel like that llama was weirdly appearing in frame every time.
Hello there.
Before realizing that, no, he was just teleporting. A teleporting llama. Somehow that's more normal. I fought a boss called
El Capoctus Hokirato.
Then skipped 10 minutes of me getting distracted to an old western duel where the twerking Among Us won. The quest then told me to go to Tete Isle. Fun fact, did you know that tete in French means head?
So no head?
And I ended up cosplaying Shalonen. Perspective change! Another perspective change! I finished the landmark mementos which gave me an achievement as well as 60 primos. Then I lost this mini-game thing? I don't know, I had no idea what was going on. To Venti because I had no idea what was going on. Wow, it's almost like I just said that. I even reread the instructions and still didn't really get it. But you know what? Venti can't have children anymore, so I guess he really needs a W in his life. Holy crap, I'm 6 hours into this recording and I've only just completed part 2 of the event quest. I collected a bunch of achievements and checked my primo count. Now before starting part 3, I climbed a tree. Because I was distracted. Who could have guessed? I got the last waypoint in the new area, had my Tatankasaurus do a sick 360 drift as I completed a time trial, randomly ran into Ron and Ineffa, and got stuck in a yap fest with Bro 1, 2, and 3. Bro, I finally finished the random quest and got 20 primos. I really gotta continue the event quest though, bro. Oh god, it's spreading. Finally starting the third part of the event quest, I entered the first layer of hell, where category 5 hurricanes are commonplace.
More like Hurricane Tornado.
Yada yada yada, Bennett almost dies, Bennett is born, Bennett's parents get Bambied, Bennett is Natlanese, Bennett. Even when I leave the tier lists, I can't escape it. We then hosted a rave, and unfortunately we couldn't afford Shalonen, so we had to make do. Honestly though, this rave was so realistic that after this session, I actually had a pounding headache.
Do you have any ibuprofen?
Now it could be that staring at a computer screen for many hours straight with only like 2 breaks would do that, but I'm pretty sure it's the fictional rave that I've got turned down to 30% volume.
Lucky star. That's who you are to us.
Holy f***, did Aether just talk? I didn't play through the 5.7 Archon quest yet, does he have a voice there too? With that, the third part was complete. This also meant I unlocked the last event minigame. It might have been unlocked after the second event quest, I don't know, I didn't check. And it's a combat event! A combat event! With a little spice called DJ Shalonen's special sauce. I collected the event primos, got a crown that I probably wouldn't use for another 4.5 years, and started the last part of the event quest. Wow, this brings a whole new meaning to painting the town red. Was it better or worse the second time? With that, the event was complete. I checked my primo count, did my commissions, then spent my resin. Ooh, I'll be rolling that. I then did my commissions again, and now you might be thinking, oh, he must have not had that much time to record, just like the last time he did this in Skirk's video. Well, no. I just booted up the game 10 minutes before daily reset happened.
F***ing degenerate.
You know what's doable now that 5.8 is out? Maxing the Natlan statue of 7, which is why I'm about to collect all the leftover Pyroculus, of which I'm missing 18. Should be pretty easy. Oh look, there's one. I'll also be collecting any chests I see along the way. Oh hey, what's that over there? I was on my way to my second Pyroculus when I already got distracted by a quest involving Mexican VeggieTales. After 4 more Pyroculus, the next Pyroculus I went to find wasn't there. I could only hope that I just forgot to mark it as found on the online map. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm just joking. The challenge was super easy. I twerking Among Us my way to another Pyroculus, found another by a cliffside, then tried to solve this puzzle in the resort square but realized I haven't unlocked the color purple. Turns out I needed to complete the Traces of Chroma quest, which I proceeded to do. It basically consisted of doing paint jobs for literally every business over in the resort. And we somehow still can't afford snacks for Paimon because... In the middle of doing the Traces of Chroma quest, I once again randomly found Ineffa and got distracted by another quest in which I played hide and seek with them. So let's get this straight. I'm currently trying to collect Pyroculus, during which I got distracted by a luxurious chest puzzle, which required me to do a prerequisite quest, during which I got distracted by a completely different quest. And now I'm playing a children's game. Welcome to my open world gaming experience. After unlocking the color purple, I went to complete the Traces of Chroma quest.
What the f-
Until the bro squad showed up and I accidentally triggered a completely different quest. Don't worry if you're confused, I am too. I didn't even know you could transition between two quests like that. But finally, I completed the Traces of Chroma quest, which gave me an achievement and a precious chest. I then went to complete the puzzle in the resort square and got another achievement and another 3 chests. So anyway, Pyroculus, yeah? On my way to the next Pyroculus, I discovered what was essentially a twerking Among Us sweatshop, so I got them to cut me in the deal for not reporting them. Easy money! I finally got what I came here for, and this was actually the last Pyroculus on the resort island, so we're actually headed back to the mainland. I collected another Pyroculus, after which I immediately murdered some Fatui in cold blood. It's nothing personal. It's just good business. After another Pyroculus, I got hit with the old Confuse Ray because while trying to get one Pyroculus, I actually got a different one. And yep, looks like I actually already got this one. The next Pyroculus came with a bonus achievement and took me above the clouds, with an absolutely stunning view, which I appreciated for about 2 minutes before moving on to the next Pyroculus. I robbed some guy of their goods, got taunted by a different breed of twerking Among Us, picked up another Pyroculus, once again found out I already collected one here, and was on my way to pick up what was hopefully my last Pyroculus. If I somehow don't have enough to max the Statue of 7, I will go on a rampage. The restraints in the asylum won't hold me. But first, I must bomb some more Hilichurls because I haven't actually committed a war crime in this video yet. With my hopefully final Pyroculus being collected, I went to the Statue of 7 for the moment of truth. Alright, back into solitary confinement I go. Now, funny enough, I am actually missing a Pyroculus. If you didn't know, each region always has one extra Oculus because... reasons. And if you look at my inventory that I've screenshotted and not recorded, there seems to be something missing. You see, I completely forgot about the ancient Sacred Mountain area on the online map, which I have a screenshot of here. Also funny, you can see 2 unmarked Pyroculus on it. We'll see which one's the imposter later. Future me here, spoiler alert, you won't. I completely forgot about that Pyroculus. Leveling the Statue of 7 gave me 2 Shrine of Depth keys, which I immediately went to use. Side note, did previous Shrines of Depth give 40 primos? Because these are giving 80, and I don't remember them doing that. I collected the new Area Exploration bonus, and handed in all my sigils which max the Tablet of Tona. Now that is what I call a stunning view. Since I unlocked the Pyro Sigil shop, I decided to check it out since I was curious. I checked my Primo count, did my commissions, spent my resin, loaded up my Crystal Fly trap, very important, and proceeded to do the 5.7 Archon quest. So spoiler alert for that, as well as for Verissa and Ineffa's story quest, if you care about those. Keep an eye on that Hilichurl, it's probably important. Welcome to the biggest sibling spat in the history of the world, and would you look at that? Natlan's at war again. This really is the nation of war. After meeting a girl who definitely wasn't the Hilichurl that ran away at the start of the quest and isn't from 500 years ago, beating up random people, Seat Lolly pouting, Seat Lolly still pouting, I almost got bonked by a malnourished 500-year-old paranoid schizophrenic. Oh, sorry, not 500 years old, just a regular paranoid schizophrenic. Maybe she should walk into a bar.
Paranoid schizophrenic who walks into a bar.
I tried so hard to hold back, but it looks like I still came across like a total glutton.
Hey, at least you know how to hold back, unlike someone else I know.
Whatever floats your boat.
In this quest, Dane still has no voice, but that's okay because we sort of get to use him in battle? After a short little cutscene depicting what I can only describe as Minecraft hell, I chose to still give Deirdre the key because I am a proud sadist. I should have switched to fucking Japanese. I should have switched to motherfucking Japanese. With that bittersweet ending, the quest was finished. I collected all the achievements that I forgot about, entered a few codes, of which only one worked, collected the wish for completing an Archon quest, and got bamboozled when another one took its place. I didn't know there was another one. Next up was Verissa's story quest, where she immediately dashed off when I got near her. Rude. I need to pick 58 fruits in the allotted time. Luckily, I have experience with picking fruit because I play Stardew Valley. Verissa channeled her inner Matt Stoney. Holy f, that's a lot of food, what the f. I went hunting for some mythical mushrooms, then started tripping on acid after eating them. In fact, I was so high that the mushrooms started talking.
Okay, so it felt pretty normal in the moment, but hearing it back does sound kind of, ridiculous.
Sounds like me when I tell my therapist about the voices. Next, we gassed the whole place up with shroom dust and got high again.
I've never been this high this early.
The only way anyone's serving you is on a platter!
Good one, Paimon! I then played a platformer, and honestly, if there was a character I would want to play a platformer as, Verissa would probably be up there. After all that, it turns out the mushroom itself was the most high out of all of us.
I gotta sober up.
With the cutscene animation fully on its way where we ate a bunch of mushrooms and didn't get high, progress, I completed Verissa's story quest, and honestly I thought it was a little weird. The entire mushroom bit felt super out of place, and honestly for most of it, Verissa didn't really feel like the main character until the cutscene animation where the writer seemed to remember, oh yeah, this is Verissa's story quest. This led to a quest that I could only describe as lackluster. But you know what? At least there wasn't a twist villain. And it was at this point that I realized I'm illiterate because this wasn't actually Ineffa's story quest, it was actually the next Archon quest.
I can't read.
Like it clearly says Song of the Welkin Moon Prelude, so I guess I was going to be doing that next. In this quest, Ineffa the Tesla robot maid cleaned up Shalonen's workshop. A How showed up, making this quest automatically 10 times worse. Seat Lolly did something most of us would never experience in real life, holding our hand. And there's a twist villain. Okay, honestly, it's not that bad. Like, it doesn't feel cheap because it's revealed pretty early on and he's not really the main bad guy. I then infiltrated a Fatui stronghold that used to be the territory of the 8th sovereign ruler. By the way, Ineffa is the 11th ruler. Don't ask me to explain that. I had all tabbed for a moment to check a Discord message and tabbed back in just in time to get bouldered. It turns out that the twist villain was actually a twist good guy. We also find out that Ineffa took dissociative identity disorder to the next level because half of her identity died thousands of years ago. Sounds like she could be my neighbor in the asylum. Heading deeper into the stronghold, I almost missed the chest pop-up that buzzed around my screen like a fly. This lava boulder monster that I'm too lazy to Google the name of also got a cheap shot in while I was frozen. Ineffa then began her Kaneki walk, and we find out that, oh sh*, 11th Lord not dead. Very much not dead. After watching Ineffa type /kill self in Minecraft, I fought the shortest boss fight of all time. Then watched as Ineffa split her personality so much that they're basically now two different people. I got a message from Varka who, and you'll be shocked to know this, I actually remembered was the Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius.
Not yet.
Anyway, let's see what Varka has to say. Hey! I wasn't done reading that! I collected the bonus wish, the bonus 60 primos, then reflected a bit on the quest. Yes, those were some very nice thoughts. Alright, let's move on. Okay, jokes aside, I know this was the prelude to Nodcry and wasn't actually Ineffa's story quest. Or maybe it was and just disguised as an Archon quest, who knows? But it definitely felt like her story quest. At least way more than Verissa's quest felt like hers. I collected a few achievements, checked my primo count, did my commissions, spent my resin, then decided to catch up on the rest of the character story quest that I forgot about. And yes, that includes Skirk's story quest. I actually forgot it existed. First up was Sigewinne's story quest, and alright, we're already in a cutscene. After listening to a potentially villainous preachy salesman who basically wants to sell people, I apparently didn't finish writing that line, but I'm going to leave it like that because it's funny. I got confused by the Fortress of Meripede map for probably the 17th time, helped Sigewinne make lunch for a prisoner, and watched the biggest prison escape of all time where all the culprits swapped faces with people whose terms were almost up. Damn, Prison Break Season 6 looks hella different. I then headed to the dreaded Fontaine Research Institute to gather information on the salesman I saw at the beginning of the quest, because he's actually also a researcher. Yes, it's looking more like he's the villain, and yes, this does remind me of Knacker. By the way, he was selling skincare products, but it also seems like he's manufactured Skinwalker products.
If you're Patrick, then who's that?
Then, almost an hour later, I finished the quest. That may seem like a very abrupt ending, but I've got a very good reason for that, which I'll explain later. Next up was Emily's story quest, where I was looking for a mythical flower. Hey Paimon, could you quiet down? I'm trying to record here. I met some 2-bit villains, found out that Emily is actually a forensic cleaner, which is a very interesting job for a perfumer to have. And if you don't know what a forensic cleaner does, think of a bloody crime scene after the police, detectives, whatever, have had a look at it. Now think about who cleans it up. That's right. The Cookie Monster. One of the 2-bit villains died. I watched as everyone glossed over the fact that the other, who is now going back to Fontaine to stand trial, threatened someone right in front of the sheriff of Port Ormos. The other 2-bit villain died. Turns out the old guy was the bad guy all along. Cutscene. Turns out 2-bit villain number 2 isn't actually dead. I was then teleported to Fontaine, where I completed Emily's story quest, which gave me a bottle of her new perfume. And you can even equip and use it. Lord knows us Genshin players need it. I did my commissions, then started Skirk's story quest, which started by Baizu telling me that I'm mentally ill. Thanks for telling me what I already know, Doc. After watching Skirk dine and dash, I visited Skirk's home. It looks lovely. Very purple. I then trained under Skirk's mentorship because Abyss yada yada yada. Anyway, she wanted me to destroy 7 of these things, and then 900. As you can see, I clearly destroyed them all. And then 17, and then 13, and then 47. Sick training session. After resting, I got a peek into Skirk's past, where it turns out that her village was attacked by shadow people, and yes, her parents told her to run. You know where this is going. And then more training, yay! Don't mind the missing timer, I accidentally closed it. It'll be back in a second. These training sessions felt like I was playing a goddamn tutorial. After spinning around in a circle because I was disorientated, I entered Dreamland to peek at more of Skirk's memories, where I found a way to walk as if I had frog legs. I gotta entertain myself somehow, you know? More training, let's go! More memories that included Alice for some reason, and it was revealed that Skirk is actually an alien. Possibly illegal. Damn, I'm like Kirito and Gungale online. I went for a light jog through Detroit, found out that the game was self-aware about Paimon's voice.
A sonorous voice like yours is hard to miss. I wouldn't be surprised if the sound of it traveled to the nearest mountaintop.
Watched Skirk meditate for 2 days, got a huge exposition dump that I didn't ask for, blitzed through Skirk trying to convince Skirk that, hey, maybe emotion not bad, then watched a cutscene that I honestly couldn't remember while writing this script. I'm not sure if it was just that unmemorable or if it's my memory problems acting up again. Probably a bit of both. But wow, this place is really beautiful. I fought a very boring boss battle because we're actually not done yet, watched Skirk Aura farm for a bit, got a luxurious chest, and finally completed Skirk's story quest, which gave me a guitar. Alright, let's talk about the recent story quests. Sigewinne's quest is now probably one of my favorite Genshin character story quests of all time. What? Which is surprising because I didn't care about Sigewinne at all before this. It explores the possibility of changing your appearance to better your life, but at the risk of alienating those closest to you. It's about self-acceptance, it's about racism and discrimination because Sigewinne is a Melusine, so it basically comes with the territory at this point. But just because r/I'm 14 and this is deep, that doesn't automatically make it better than cowgirl eating competition. Okay, it might, but that's not the point. Not every quest has to have some complex themes or deal with some super serious topics. Hell, one of my favorite story quests was Shanyun's, and that one was just about Shanyun getting lonely because her disciples were too busy to visit her. I'm just saying that this quest is executed really, really well. Sigewinne is actually the main character of her own story quest, which is always a good thing. You get to learn about her history, which plays into the story in a way that makes sense and doesn't just feel like a giant exposition dump. The racism and discrimination aspects aren't annoyingly shoved in your face, but crop up naturally. All the early plot points tie into the story very nicely, but not only that, they actually tie into the main story of Fontaine as well. Like, there are aspects of the main Archon quest that are the reasons behind some characters' actions and motivations in Sigewinne's story quest, which is a really nice added bonus for someone who actually paid attention to the Fontaine Archon quest. Also, the villain's motivations actually make sense to the point where I was empathizing with him afterwards.
Say what?
You can even draw parallels between Sigewinne and the villain, which is very, very interesting. In fact, there's a fair argument to be had that he's the best villain in any Genshin character story quest. which really isn't a high bar now that I think about it, but the point stands. Honestly, this felt like an episode of the Apothecary Diaries, which if you've watched, you'd know that that is a pretty big compliment. So the reason why I skipped over most of the quests in this video was to actually avoid spoilers. I encourage you to play it yourself. Wow. I don't think I've ever had that much to say about a character story quest in this game, even about the other ones that I really liked. Emily's story quest has an outline similar to many other character story quests, and I didn't mention it before, but Sigewinne's quest actually follows this outline as well. Character happens upon a crime, becomes detective, solves mystery, and the villain is either imprisoned or Monica. And in these character story quests specifically, what usually differs is how much focus is put on said character, and how said character's own backstory feeds into the quest's story. Like, I learned a lot about Sigewinne in her story quest. I learned about her past, her motivations, her drive, and it all feeds into her story quest really nicely. The only thing I learned about Emily is that she's a forensic cleaner, and this is a shame because as far as detective stories go, how the villain murdered his victims is actually pretty interesting. But just like Verissa, Emily didn't feel like the main character, which resulted in a fine story quest. As for Skirk's story quest, I had mixed feelings. On one hand, her past revolving around her survivor's guilt, feeling like a trespasser on Tevat, and finally understanding the fact that you can't just lock away your emotions to become stronger, are all pretty interesting in their own right. On the other hand, however, the way the quest told the story and integrated all these aspects was honestly kind of boring. Like, half of the quest was an unnecessary training arc, while the rest was just reading through her memories, told through that wisp-looking thing, so I can barely take it seriously. Yes, I know the training arc was for you to understand what Skirk went through with her master and to empathize with her, but there must have been a better way to go about it. Honestly, yeah, that's all I had to say about the story quest. It felt like a giant exposition dump. My favorite part about it was Skirk singing.
Finally awake.
It was then time to do the Abyss. Again, that's right, I did cheese the timers, and while looking at the mobs on floor 12, I ran into an issue. So I quickly watched half a guide, picked my team, did the first half of 12-1, and immediately started rethinking my life choices. With my Raiden team taking forever on each half, that left my Skirk team to pick up the pieces, and with not a lot of time to do so. The Mexican pickle boss actually went fine, surprisingly. Yeah, it took more than 2 minutes, but honestly, not as bad as I was expecting. And with that, I barely finished 12-3 in time. Praise be Skirk team. I then started a new event where I got to hear Yolan's voice for the first time in what felt like years. In this event, I became a detective collecting forensic evidence, and also became a part of the bomb squad and stopped a terrorist attack. I think I'm very underqualified for this job.
Was it the Yanni wire or the Laurel wire?
I collected the event primos and finally stopped the timer. In 17 hours of playing, I ended up with 7,983 primos plus 3 wishes, which, subtracting the original amount I started with, means I farmed 8,078 primogems in this video. Once again, I am 50 pity deep. Let's get right into the polls. 60, 70, 80... Alright, here we go! Let's go! I always win! At least whenever I'm recording. This means I actually get to save the rest for NocRan. That's huge. And before you ask, no, I did not pre-farm for this character. I honestly didn't think I'd win the 50-50, so... Well then, I once again continued the streak of happy endings for these farming videos. I don't know how I keep getting away with this. The luck's gotta run out at some point. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Sorry it took so long. I've been touching quite a bit of grass recently. Oh, touching grass. And touching ass. That's it from me though, and I will see you all next time. Bye!